An award-winning lawyer, from bystander to victim of a crime against humanity, a fight against injustice, to defend people whom the regime doesn't like. Despite Chinese law granting people freedom of speech, assembly, and belief, in actuality, Chinese people aren't able to enjoy these, and neither are they upheld in Chinese courts. This is the story of a Chinese human rights lawyer who tried to make a difference. Wang Yonghan started out as a relatively unknown attorney in Liaoning province. Though he was struggling to make ends meet, he often took on pro bono work to help people suffering injustices. Wang became well known for defending practitioners of Falun Gong. Falun Gong is a meditation practice, the most popular of China's traditional energy-based spiritual practices. Tens of thousands of people in China follow its teachings of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Its practitioners have been defamed by the Chinese regime and are suffering under a persecution that began in 1999. Wang's own wife practices Falun Gong. In 2007, he started to defend Falun Gong practitioners in court. These practitioners constantly faced arrest despite not committing any crime. At the time, it was rare to see an attorney defending a Falun Gong practitioner. Many lawyers feared getting involved in the persecution. The court took away Wang's right to represent a client, and more importantly, his client's right to an attorney. Such an egregious abuse of the legal system was hard for him to accept, but the magnitude of injustice would soon engulf his life. In April 2008, Wang's wife was unlawfully detained by police in Shanghai. When he tried to hire a Shanghai lawyer to visit his wife in the detention center, the law firms all turned him down. They were all concerned that representing Falun Gong practitioners would get them into trouble with the authorities. Wang then decided to publish an open letter to China's head of state asking him to follow the law, free his wife, and stop persecuting Falun Gong. He also stated that the prosecution and sentencing of Falun Gong practitioners are without legal basis. The letter was published in the Epoch Times. Wang's public appeal to China's officials had consequences. After Wang's wife was released, the Liaoning Provincial Justice Bureau took away his attorney's license, and he became a target of retaliation. Nevertheless, Wang continued representing Falun Gong practitioners. In June 2009, he represented Falun Gong detainee Mr. Kong Rishu in court. This drew the ire of the communist regime again. A couple of weeks later, Wang Yonghan and his friends were having lunch at a friend's home when a group of plainclothes stallion police barged in. 13 people were arrested that day, including Mr. Feng Gang, an art professor at the Dalian Fisheries College. Mr. Feng died under suspicious circumstances just 1 month later. His family had his body frozen so they could demand an investigation into his death. At the police station, Wang was badly tortured, leaving him with an ankle fracture that was not promptly treated, leading to a severe infection and worsening the dislocation. In late November, the Shahekou District Court in Dalian City sentenced Wang to 7 years in prison for defending Falun Gong practitioners and for so-called damaging the implementation of the law. This was the longest known prison term given to a human rights lawyer who had defended Falun Gong practitioners. Wang went on a hunger strike to protest the illegal sentence. The detention center force-fed him and handcuffed him with his arms behind his back for over 30 hours. In April 2010, Wang was taken to a Shenyang No. 1 prison in Liaoning province. In less than 2 weeks, several inmates beat him viciously twice at the orders of prison authorities. Prison personnel will often use inmates to abuse Falun Gong practitioners. It was summer, but he was not allowed to take a shower, wash clothes, wash his face, hands, feet, or use toilet paper. He was forced to sit on a wooden stool from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. every day and was not allowed to go to the bathroom at night. In prison, he also was subjected to painful force feeding, which caused respiratory tract bleeding and nearly fatal suffocation. And once, he was deprived of sleep and food for 13 consecutive days. Due to long-term mistreatment and neglect, Wang was in critical condition, suffering from pneumonia, chest congestion, and a buildup of fluid in tissues around his abdomen. Paralyzed from the waist down, he was even too weak to speak. On July 3, 2016, the day of his release, the prison would not let him go at first, claiming they were waiting for orders from the local government. Only after several people from his residential committee showed up did they finally release him. But he was still not a free man. The residential committee and local police installed infrared cameras inside and outside of his house to monitor him around the clock. During his 7 years, Wang has witnessed 5 Falun Gong practitioners tortured to death in prison. Another died after being released. His case was included in the United Nations 2010 Special Rapporteur Report on torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Wang Yonghang is just one in countless cases of persecution suffered by Falun Gong practitioners, their family members, and their supporters in China. And the persecution is still continuing up until now. For more information about Falun Gong and the ongoing persecution, go to the Falun Dafa Information Center online at faluninfo.net.